New York man is suing the NYPD for $50 million for their part in his wrongful conviction for a double homicide that he did not commit. George Bell spent 24 years in prison after being sentenced in 1996 to life without parole for killing an off-duty cop who was working security at a check cashing store. Lawyers for Bell, who said was 19 at the time, say cops threatened him into making a false confession to the murders. New evidence in the case now points to other suspects that helped to get Bell out of prison last year. At the time Bell was arrested, he had no criminal record. There was also political pressure to find someone to convict. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani said police officers would not rest until they've solved the double homicide. Giuliani vowed to find those responsible for the December 21st murder by Christmas. Bell's attorney said Giuliani was pandering to tabloids and other communities he thought would back him. You know, when I look deeper into the situation, we see this happens over and over again, especially with people of color. The percentage is very, very high. And I just want to Google and see some things, and you just can't believe what pops up. When we talk about Sean Williams, Hugh Burton, we talk about the Central Park Five, right? We talk about two other friends that were found guilty in the same murder. This happens over and over again where they don't put in the right time, they don't use the right information, and then lives are lost. This man cannot get those years back. He can't. Yeah, he may get that check from the state, but he can't get those years back, and that's what's so hurtful. So how do we fix this situation?
You know, for me, Romeo, this story is... It's a lot. It's super sad. And, you know, three words that stick out to me: former Mayor Rudy Giuliani. That may be four. But every case that he had a part in, he had a hand in, needs to be opened and looked at. Now, when it comes to this young man, you know, the New York Daily News ran a front cover story when he was arrested. And he was just 19 years old at the time. The paper said they labeled him the crybaby killer because he was crying. They also ran a full page calling for him to be executed. He was arrested with two other black men. He did not know one of them, had never met him. He confessed after he was beat. One of the detectives pulled his braids from his scalp. They pressed a hockey stick upside of his head and said that they were going to hit him and he was going to be the puck. There was no physical evidence connecting him to the crime. He was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole at 19. The other two guys got 50 years. A judge last year vacated all three sentences. But you're right, Romeo, this is a pattern. With all the names that you named and all the things that people have that are going through during that time, it seems to be during that time where we had the Central Park Five, when we had this case, they were just taking any little black boy and throwing him in false confession. His mother came up to the precinct trying to find him. They lied to her and said that he wasn't there. They did not give him a lawyer. They did not read his Miranda rights. I mean, there are so many things wrong with this case. He should get every $50 million that he's asking
and his lawyer, you know, because there are some people that are going to ask, like, why $50 million, right? Romeo, like you said, him losing the lion's share of his life, days and years you can't get back. He absolutely is deserving of $50 million, every single dollar. But what is most important here is the false confession. You guys have absolutely great points. You know, him being falsely forced to confess. They told him they were going to send him to the hospital. And at 19 years old, you know, I just really wonder, what were the lawyers back then? How come no one could fight and find? Because Mimi, you're even saying that there was no evidence that placed him there. How was there not a lawyer that was able to fight for him?
He had a public defender, and they said that the prosecutors withheld information. That's part of why his case was overturned. You know, they weren't giving him the information. And think about it, when you're a public defender in that time, you probably got a million cases.
You're not connected.
You're not connected. You're not invested. There's so many reasons why this went the way it did.
You want to close that book and
get on to the next one because you've got a pile in your office of the same type of thing.
I just think this, 19 years old, you're knowing you didn't do it. So yeah, I'm going to give you what you want because I just want to go home.
And
not knowing.
Right. And there was so much, there were political pressure. Think about this. You just read that Giuliani said that on December 21st, he wanted to close this case by Christmas. So 3 days? You're gonna solve a murder case in 3 days?
And the eyewitness that saw this, confessed, the eyewitness had legal issues as well. So we don't know if that eyewitness was like, did a little bartering deal.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, I'm just gonna, you know, so I can get off. I'll find someone. This is just a little black boy, like you said. They don't care which black boy. There's a black boy, and we know that we can put you behind bars and keep you there.
Well, we'll definitely keep you posted on the outcome of this case. All right.